And good evening. You're listening to the Modern Mystic radio show on A1R Psychic Radio Network, the world's #1 psychic radio network, and also on Moonstruck TV. So hopefully you're watching us. If not, you're listening to us. I'm just going to introduce myself. I'm your host, Saira. So I'm heading off another week of absolutely fantastic spiritual shows. And I have a special guest with me today. I'm going to introduce him in a moment. But before I do that, just to remind you of how you can get hold of me. You can get hold of me via my website, which is www.modern-mystic.co.uk, or on my Facebook page, Modern Mystic, and also Mystic Sarah. Okay, so I'm going to introduce my first guest, which is Dana Mayer. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm just fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, thank you, and I'm so pleased to have you on the show. Right, Dana, so you are an intuitive and a tarot reader, is that right?
That's right, yes.
Okay, and how did you actually get into that whole sort of world of, intuitive work, psychic work?
Oh, well, gosh, I've known, forever, since I was really small. I would sense things, and I would know things that people around me didn't necessarily find apparent immediately. But it wasn't, and I started to read cards in my 20s, and I kind of went, oh my goodness, things are happening. It's actually working, and I got really scared. I put them away for 20 years. And then in my 40s, I picked it up again, and I did a lot of studying and learned about the cards and just developed my skills. And I've been reading professionally now for a few years.
Oh, fantastic. And you are obviously American, but you're based here in the UK. How long have you lived over here?
I've lived here for, 22 years now.
Oh, wow. And your psychic journey has taken you also all over the place, hasn't it? So you've been to Glastonbury, you've also worked on UK TV as well, and you've had some other interesting things. Did you do, you did choreography, didn't you?
Yeah, for a long time I actually pole dancing classes, and I had the pleasure of doing choreography on films and on commercials and some stage documentaries. So it was all very exciting. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that sounds absolutely wonderful. So you've been a very, very busy bee this year with your psychic work. What are your plans for next year?
Oh gosh, more of the same. I'm doing some shamanic study, and I would like to combine that with my psychic work. It kind of combines naturally anyway. And just take things forward in that way.
So when did you have your first psychic experience? Tell us about that.
Oh, right. Oh, so I'm kind of thinking, which one? I just would know things about people when I was a kid. I would just know certain things about people's character or what was going to happen, and nobody would believe me, and I would be right. So yeah.
Wow.
I was very small. I would just sense things from 3, 4. I mean, and then I would have dreams that would come true and that sort of thing, and it just kind of snowballed. And I actually, when I was about 16, I had somebody read cards for me, and I was just like, this is amazing. And they were reading playing cards, and that was my first introduction to the cards. And I got interested from there. It was a friend of my aunt, and she used to read my cards. But as I said, I got so kind of ooh about it that I put them away for quite a while and then returned to them.
Mind you, that is often the way, isn't it? That we delve into it, and then life kind of takes over, and we have to deal with that, and then we kind of get sort of sucked back into that world, don't we?
Yeah, kind of. But sucked back in a good way, I think. I mean, not in a bad way, in a good way, in a way that is exciting and unfolding and interesting.
Oh yes. Do you have your most memorable reading to hand? Can you remember that? Can you think which one sort of stands out more than the others?
Oh gosh, and there's a few that stand out, but one that was absolutely amazing, which definitely not going to repeat on the show tonight. He came to me at Glastonbury, and who had a gentleman that had a series of very, very complex issues, and we ended up doing a reading that was 2.5 hours long.
Wow.
And I was just like, this is very, very long. And it was good because it was very flowing, and one thing led to another, and it was all the things we were talking about in the reading were interlinked and part of a very, very complex series of events that he was involved in. But it was amazing because, I mean, normally, as you know, a psychic reading wouldn't necessarily last for that long. So it was quite intense and quite long, and he came away really with a lot of new perspectives on things. It was actually quite useful to have done that.
Wow. I mean, that is a long reading. That is a very long reading, I have to say. I think my maximum has been about 3 hours, but it doesn't happen very often, and it certainly won't be happening. You're right, it won't be happening tonight, otherwise we'll be booted off. Okay, so you've worked in the UK. Have you worked in any other countries as well?
You mean doing psychic work?
Yeah.
No, just in the UK. I mean, I've done other sorts of work. I was a music journalist. That was my first career, and I did that in the US and the UK. Then I started teaching pole dancing classes, and then I started doing psychic work. So I've had a very varied career, and in that order.
Yes, that does sound very varied. Okay, so I believe we have our first caller waiting. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you. We have Catherine from Iuka in Mississippi. Catherine, are you there? Okay, well, we're going to grab her back. She's disappeared. Hopefully we'll get her back in a second. Right, okay, so just tell us a little bit about how you kind of receive your insight. Do you get it from your spirit guides? Is it just something that just pops in? How does it work for you?
I would say it's a combination of things. I mean, sometimes I feel really strong presence of guides. Other times it's more just, it can be a visual image, it can be like a felt sense, or just knowing. I mean, it's a variety of things, really. I wouldn't say it's predominantly one thing. It's a mixture, and it's always evolving.
Okay. So it's pretty similar to how I work, actually. So I will get it through, either a knowing or a feeling or dialogue, absolutely. So, right, we've got another caller that's waiting. Now, this is Julie from Denver, Colorado. Hi, Julie, you there?
I'm here. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Okay, so I'm going to hand you straight over to Dana, who's going to do your reading for you. Do you have a question for Dana?
I do. Dana, there's this guy that I really like. His name is Nate. How does he feel about me? Does he like me?
Hi, Julie. Well, let's see what we can find out. So I'm going to use some cards for your reading. I'm shuffling the cards for you now, and I'm going to cut the deck into 1, 2, and 3. Which one would you like me to use?
3.
Okay, fine. So I'm going to put down some cards for you and for Nate just to see where this is likely to be heading. Right, okay, so I see he's kind of almost waiting to act. He's a little bit unsure at the moment about what's going to happen. And what I want to say to you is I feel that this relationship has potential, but maybe the timing isn't quite right for it to happen at the very moment. I think it eventually will move forward because I feel that he does have some feelings for you, but he's kind of betwixt and between. He's trying to sort out a few things in his own life right now. I can see very strongly that you can see the potential of this relationship. And also, have you recently ended a relationship or broken up with somebody?
No, I haven't.
Oh, right, okay, so I just see you kind of then resolving maybe some old feelings from an old relationship, kind of moving away from that. But as I said, I feel that this guy does like you, isn't really sure how to take it forward, working on some things in his own life. Timing is a bit off, but going forward into, I guess, about 3 to 6 months' time, I do see this unfolding, and it looks very nice, and it's got a really nice, lovely feel about it. So what I would say is hang in there and let things evolve naturally, and there's a good chance this is going to move forward in a really nice way for you.
Oh, wonderful. And you were breaking up pretty bad there. I heard like a quarter of what you said, so all good things?
Yes, basically what I was saying is that the timing is a bit shaky at the moment with this, but hang in there. It looks like it could develop into something really lovely.
Okay, so does he love me? Is he in love with me?
I think he cares about you a lot. He's kind of waiting to see what's going to develop and how he can take things forward. But
okay, should I wait? Go ahead.
It's quite positive. I don't see something negative here. I see quite positive feelings.
Okay.
Okay, are you happy with that, Catherine? Oh, Julie, sorry. Are you happy with that, Julie?
Yes, I heard very little of what she said. She kept breaking up, but it sounded like he's got feelings and I need to just wait and hang in there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. So thank you very much, Julie, for coming on to the show. Wish you lots and lots of love and light. And we have got another caller here, and this is Ken, and he's from New Mexico. Hi, Ken, are you there? Hi.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you? And thank you for coming on to the show. I'm going to hand you straight over to Dana, who's going to do your reading for you tonight. Do you have a question for Dana?
I do. It concerns where I'm going to be living. I'm kind of in a transition now, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. That's about it.
Oh, great. So, Ken, are you considering any options, or do you just want a general reading about what's likely to come up for you?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. So I'm just shuffling some cards for you, and I'm just gonna ask about your potential move. Would you like 1, 2, or 3, Ken?
I'm sorry?
Would you like number 1, number 2, or number 3, Ken?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll go ahead and pick one for you then. So I'm just putting down some cards for you in regards to your move.
Yes.
You're right. Okay, so what I want to say is this move may not be happening as soon as you might think it might be happening. There seem to be some delays around this, a bit of a waiting period, bit of sorting out what you want, and kind of wanting to walk away from a situation. And again, it's kind of like what I said to the last caller, but this is coming up again. This seems to be the theme of the evening. The timing isn't quite there. It's not like inability to do so. It's just kind of not yet. What's also coming up is that you actually need to get clear on the practicalities of the situation and putting your plans into action, because this is also a bit hazy at the moment. It's as if you want to do it, but there's just all these kind of competing elements that are stopping you. Again, it's not right now. And I feel there may be some emotional involvement that's complicating this situation. I'm going to leave that for you there, and I wish you well.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ken. Is there anything else that you'd like to ask, or is that clear enough for you?
No, that clears it up. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Ken. And off he goes. So thank you very much, Dana, for doing those readings for us. Just quickly, if people want to get hold of you, how can they do that? How's the best way to get hold of you?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I have a shop on Etsy called The Queen of Pentacles, and they can reach me there. And I can read for people via email or Skype or in person. So, yeah, that's probably the best way to contact me at the moment. I also have a Facebook page for The Queen of Pentacles, so they can also reach me there.
Oh, fantastic. And you're available pretty much any time, is that right?
Yeah. Except when I'm sleeping, of course.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, so, right, I'm going to continue grilling you for a little bit, actually.
Ooh,
okay, so what I would like to know, or if you could tell me a little bit about how your psychic development has actually unfolded, from the point of where you started to where you are now. Could you talk us through a little bit about what you experience as a psychic?
Right. Well, I feel I'm doing studies in other areas like shamanic work and like body psychotherapy, and I feel like they all really inform energy healing. They all kind of inform each other. There's so much crossover in all of those things. I feel like there's a lot of, if I had like a Venn diagram, there would be all these overlapping circles with that kind of stuff. So I feel that each of those things has contributed in some way to my psychic development, because it's a felt sense in the body. It's learning to listen and tune in. It's working with guides, working with ancestors in the shamanic work. So, to me, it's a completely unfolding process where I'm finding more and more and more things overlapping. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, it does. Because, I myself a very interesting sort of going down the shamanic route myself, and I find it does blend really quite beautifully with what I do, and psychically, I think if you have that kind of ability, it really does amplify the shamanic journey and the healing journey as well.
Yeah, it does, and it's really strange. When I first started to do journeying, I started to see tarot cards in my journey. So again, it was of like that was a big area of overlap. And I find when I'm doing my psychology training that images from tarot and images from the shamanic work come up as well. So it's very, very overlapping. I just feel like these fields all inform each other so much. So it's this kind of process of finding all the places where these things intersect. So that's what my world looks like to me at the moment as a psychic.
So are you finding that, some of the aspects that you're learning about are now starting to actually cross over into the readings you're delivering?
Oh yes, completely. They're crossing over into the readings I'm delivering, and things that I use in my readings are crossing over into the other stuff. So it's all everything's informing each other, which is quite exciting.
Absolutely.
And new levels of how they inform each other. So yes, I do feel that very much.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, it's something I can really relate to as well. So do you also teach, or have you been thinking about going into teaching others?
I don't teach at the moment, but it's something I certainly could foresee in my future. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. Because I have taught in other areas, as I said, so I feel I could bring my teaching skills to teaching psychic development. I feel like I want to more firmly establish my own path and then be able to teach others in a more coherent way. So I feel I will get to that place. Yeah, I'm on the way. One day, not quite yet, but yes, I'd love to. That would be great.
So would you have any sort of like words of advice or wisdom for anyone out there that's a budding psychic?
Yeah, trust your intuition. Yeah, very, very important, because I think for a long time what held me back in the very, very early days of my psychic development is that I reached a point where I didn't trust it. And I made lots of mistakes until I figured out that, yes, I actually can trust this. And I think sometimes when people are starting to develop psychically, they're almost afraid to say what they see, and not be afraid of that, and to actually trust that, take that risk, say it. Because the worst thing that someone can say to you is, no, that's not right. And because a lot of times you'll find that even the things that seem outrageous when they're coming through to you are actually the things that people can relate to most when you actually put it out there. So, yeah, just trust what you're getting.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. It's about expressing what you actually get, regardless of whether it's right or wrong, because the more you actually pass on those messages, the more you actually start to come through. And that's what I found there is quite a big block for a lot of people that I teach is if they hold on to it when they're thinking, oh, I'm not sure, that's when it kind of dries up and they lose the connection. But by expressing it, whether it's right or wrong, actually builds the whole thing up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like a lot of times it's likely to be right as well. It's just like, it's often right, even if it feels like the craziest thing. It's often the thing that's right.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Dana. It's been an absolute pleasure and delight. Just to remind everybody how to get hold of me, it's www.modern-mystic.co.uk. I'll be back same time next week. Looking forward to have a great week ahead, and stay tuned for some other exciting spiritual shows.